Hey, this is Kyle, and today we'll be looking over the Galaxy S22. And today we have a 128 gigabyte Phantom Black Galaxy S22 that is sealed in the box straight from Verizon. And I believe this phone was $290 on a contract, so I believe it provides tremendous value. So we'll actually go ahead and unbox it and go over a few of the key specs on why I think this is a great value phone. Let's go ahead and cut open those seals. You can see the phone inside there. And everything else in the box, it's a very small little box. And it has a SIM card ejector tool. Go ahead and pry this open, see what else we have. We have a USB-C cable, USB-C to USB-C. Some information about the battery and the recycling. A quick start guide, which you don't see a lot anymore. So this is for the Galaxy S22, the S22 Plus, and the S22 Ultra. Alright, now we'll set that aside, and we'll grab the phone, which is a very light device. It comes in at just 5.8 ounces, and the dimensions of the device are 5.75 tall by 2.78 wide and only 0.3 thick. So you can see it's a very thin device and very light. And this is from February of 2022, so it is a newer device for the price. So of course it features everything that you would expect from a flagship phone. It has 5G, it has LTE, it has the 50 megapixel camera, it has an ultra wide camera, and it has that nice zoom lens that everybody is going after. It also has an AMOLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR, and 1300 nits of peak brightness. And these displays on the front and the back are both Gorilla Glass. So let's actually go ahead and power this thing on. And on the right side, you'll see a power button here in the center, as well as your volume up and down. On the top, you'll have your SIM ejector tool, or your SIM eject slot. There are no buttons on the left side. And the bottom, you'll have USB-C. And that's your SIM tray, actually. This must be an IR port. My apologies. So you can see we turned it on. Initialization, you can see the 5G coming in and out in the top right corner. But some other features of this phone while it's turning on is that it does have an always-on display as well. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8th Gen CPU. And this display size is 6.1 inches. And obviously it's this 128 gigabyte model, and it has 8 gigabytes of RAM. But you can see in my hand that this fits very nicely. It's an awesome size, in my opinion. Yeah, because it's a little bit taller than it is wide, so it makes it a lot easier to actually hold in your hand. Let's actually go ahead and start. And we can agree to our policies. And we'll click continue. We'll skip setting up our Wi-Fi's. And we'll let it check for updates and everything else that it does during its setup. But yeah, it does have that wide lens as well as your main 50 megapixel shooter and your telephoto 10 megapixel lens as well. And it has a flash right there. It can record 8K at 24 FPS, 4K at up to 60 FPS, and 1080p at 30, 60, or 240 FPS. So you can do that slow motion in 720p or in 1080p. And then the front camera is 10 megapixels and records at 4K as well. It also has Wi-Fi 6, as well as your normal standard bands of A, B, G, and N, so you can connect to your normal 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz networks, and Bluetooth 5.2, so that you can connect to all your latest Bluetooth devices with smaller latency than previous generations. And it still has NFC, which you come to expect from any phones nowadays. There's also a fingerprint sensor underneath the display, which is very nice to see. And then if you view any of my previous videos, you'll see that I've used a Galaxy S21 with Samsung DeX. This also still has Samsung DeX, so that you can plug in a USB-C cable into a USB-C dock and turn this into like a mini laptop. So I believe that was a pretty nice feature as well. So we're not going to copy any data or apps. Google gives you the option to transfer data from an existing device, but let's set this up as a new device so we can go through the entire setup process to get to that home screen. And while we're waiting for that, we'll go ahead and put on our OtterBox case. You can see that it's 3 times tested to be military standard with antimicrobial case protection, and it's compatible with 5G, so it doesn't block anything, and it still allows you to wirelessly charge while giving you a secure grip. So let's go ahead and sign in, and then we'll put this case on. Okay, and now that it's continuing in the setup, we'll go ahead and skip, agree to the terms. We'll grab our case here. We'll just pull it up. Designed for Samsung. We'll go ahead, take the device. We'll take the plastic screen protectors off, so you can see that frosted glass back. You can see the shiny letters and the shiny edge and the glass front. Now we'll go ahead and just slide it into our case. And there it is. Go ahead and select our preferred settings. So you can use your location scannings, you can do backup, you want to install updates. You can do face recognition, you can do fingerprint, you can do PIN, password, or pattern. So let's register a fingerprint. A quick and easy way to unlock your phone to verify yourself in apps is your fingerprint. So let's go ahead and continue. So set your PIN first. So let's go ahead and do that. So to get the best scan, press with the pad of your finger inside the circle, then lift with the circle fully extended. So you can see the under display fingerprint scanner is located a quarter way up the screen. So let's go ahead and move the phone around in a variety of different ways, just to make sure. And we'll do the top of the finger, we'll do it flat down, and we'll continue. And you don't have to press down into the screen for it to read. You just have to lay your finger on top of the screen. And now that the fingerprint is added, we'll go ahead and continue. Okay. And you can see our Verizon services as well for location and apps. We'll skip. This is your Samsung account now. You can see this case does have a charger cover hole. We'll leave that. We'll leave your Samsung account for later. You can sign in if you would like to register it with your account for your warranty and everything else. And we'll just go ahead and agree. I like dark mode, so I'm going to go ahead and select dark. Now your phone is set and ready to use. So now we're taken into our normal Android home screen, and we can customize all of that. It looks like it does come with some bloatware. It has Disney Plus, Netflix, and then of course all the Verizon software. So you can see Cloud, Digital Secure, Message Plus. Let's see what else. We have Google Play, so we have the whole suite of Google apps. Galaxy wearables, Samsung Free, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube Music. So it does have quite a bit of bloatware installed from factory on it. Let's go ahead and open that camera. You can see photo, video, portrait. And you have Pro, so that you can select and really dial in what you're trying to capture. You do have that night mode, food, panorama, super slow-mo, which is 720p, regular slow motion, hyperlapse, portrait video, director view, and a single take. So you can see it does have quite a few options. We'll go to the settings and we'll view a couple of extra options. You can see you can save in different modes. You can save it in RAW format as well. If you'd like to go into Photoshop afterwards and adjust that, you can do your FPS for your video, which means the motion rate, the frames per second, so the motion isn't jaggedy. The higher the FPS and it's slower, the higher you go. You can see shutter sound, vibration feedback. You can see your 3:4 aspect ratio at 50 megapixels, a standard 3:4, a 9:16, a 1:1, and a full frame. For photo. And for video, you have your options of 8K at 24 FPS, 60 FPS at 4K, which is UHD, 30 FPS, 60 FPS in 1080p, 30 FPS in 1080p, and 720p 30 FPS. And out of the box, let's see what this is running. Out of the box, we're running Android 13 and Samsung One UI version 5.1. And it already has a software download in progress to update, is my guess. So that is how we are looking. We'll come back in a couple of weeks and do a proper review on how this device is faring after some use. See how the battery life, how the camera, and how the form factor is working. Because as you can see, it's a little bit more narrow than what I'm used to on the iPhone side. On the iPhone 13 Pro, you can see this is a very wide device. You can see it barely fits in my hand, whereas this is taller, easily fits in my hand. You put the 13 on top and it just swallows that Galaxy S23 up completely. It's also a little bit heavier, but it looks to be about the same thickness, but it's definitely noticeably heavier. So I'm looking forward to giving this a fair shakedown. So stay tuned for more content.